Baby just did that recertification over.
Her caption says, "Yes, Section 8 is my husband."
That recertification over. Just really that certification over. Sign my life away to my husband again. Sign my life away to my husband again. Yes. Yes. Love my husband. Y'all see my husband? Y'all see his big ass. His big see-through ass. Now y'all ass gonna be riding me, calling the Section 8 my husband. Yes, bitch, he's my husband. And he paid all my bills. Well, not all my bills. Lies. He paid 2 of my bills, but baby, he paid the biggest of it. He paid the biggest of it. That's my man. Yes. Now talk about this motherfucking video. Section 8 is my motherfucking husband. Yes, I said it.
Now, I don't know what black fatigue really is, but I know I got it right now. I know I got it right now. There's so many things wrong with this. First of all, man, you walked out the building, you got a whole bonnet on, your baby behind you with the bonnet on, you're in the car talking about Section 8 is your husband, teaching the little girl this. You lying to me!
Come with us as we go evict our Section 8 tenant.
Alright, let's go, bitch.
Today we're heading to our first rental property after the recent eviction of our tenant. There are many pros and cons to having a Section 8 tenant, but the result of this one was extremely bad. After receiving multiple violations from our HOA, we had to take a look at the property and see what was actually wrong with it. And once we pulled up, it was devastating.
She was complaining of rats and all that kind of stuff, and clearly you can see why there were rats, because she didn't really care to actually throw the trash out. She threw the trash into the backyard. It's not a surprise that one would see rats.
In all of her time living there, she hadn't cut the grass once. Look how bad this lot looked compared to the rest of the community. It's no wonder we got many violations for this. So that brings us to today. We had the trash taken out, the grass cut, and we were just there to put a notice of abandonment on the property as our last attempt to communicate with this woman since she'd gone off the radar. If you want to see what happens once we get the keys and go inside and then hit that follow button, stick around. Come with us as we go evict our Section 8.
So let's go back to this first clip for a second, because this is absolutely embarrassing. This is embarrassing, and it's really embarrassing the fact that you can even come online and do this. But I mean, that guy, he brought up a good point, and the thing that he brought up is that for one, so let me get this straight. You're going into a building where I don't want to say business is conducted, because it's probably a government building, but ultimately you're out in public and you go outside with this thing on your head. This is why I just say this is just so embarrassing at this point. Like, no tact, zero awareness. Because if you were aware, if you had any type of self-awareness, social awareness, you wouldn't think that this is cute to come online and basically just say like the most ignorant things, like Section 8 is my husband. Really? And then notice who's following along with you. You're a mentor because you have a kid. And look at what you're teaching this kid. Look at the attitude. Look at the type of philosophies that this kid is observing. And don't tell me, oh no, I do what I say. Don't, excuse me. Yeah, do what I say. Don't repeat what I do. No. Kids are very observant. They're going to observe what you do before they pay attention to what you say. And this is just sad. Y'all, before we get into the next clip, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype. His caption says, a Florida mother lost Section 8 housing because she got a job.
There's a mother in Florida that lost her Section 8 housing because she got a new job. And it's stuff like this that really shows that oppression and poverty is systemic. The system set up so that everybody can stay in their places respectively. Lower stays in lower, middle stays in middle, and then the top stays at the top. Anybody from the lower or the middle that somehow by some chance of luck ends up at the top is just an outlier. That's why pulling yourself up by the bootstraps will never fucking work. Because there's no amount of budgeting and finance and saving that'll get you from poverty to the fucking top of the top, even to the middle class. It's extremely hard for most people to make the jump from lower to the middle, even from like the bottom of the bottom to like the upper part of the lower end. I can't stand when people be talking about some, oh, I wish I was on EBT. I wish I had Section 8. I wouldn't have to pay for groceries or rent. Because it's like, bro, they literally need it. They can't pay for anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have no fucking money. They need the government to help them. And it's just like, bro, most people cannot get ahead of the game because they were born into this world with the boot of capitalism and white supremacy on their neck, not letting them get up.
Trump said, if you are on Section 8 housing, you only get 2 years. Now, I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear that, but understand the matter of the fact is that a lot of people get on this Section 8 and get this housing, and they sit on it for years, and they never do nothing else with their life. They get content and comfortable with what's going on in front of them. They sit up, they buy bags, they got the most expensive cars, they buying their kids all these expensive clothes, instead of saving money and putting this money up to progress, to get ahead in life. It's like somebody asking you for a loan to get ahead on their bills, but then they never get ahead on their bills because next month they need your help again. They need your help again because they really tricked all that money off. See, the thing is this: you need to get up off your ASS, do something with your life, and stop trying to sit around on housing in Section 8 for the rest of your life, because it's not going to always be there. What are you going to do if the economy just drops right now? What are you going to do if they take housing in Section 8 away and you've been on there for 4 or 5 years and you haven't been doing nothing? Yeah, we got single mothers out here, but the thing is this: nobody told you to lay down with a ain't nothing. Trump said.
That's true. We could address that last part. But yeah, I mean, you have people, I mean, he's giving you 2 years max. And you'll have people complaining about 2 years before they've even started their 2 years. Ain't that something? They don't even have faith that they can turn their situation around. So then 2 questions come up. One, if you don't even have faith that you could turn this around in 2 years of getting your life paid for, then why did you make these decisions? Why do you continue to make these decisions? As well as, what really are you planning to do? Do you want to have any type of responsibility? Do you want to have to like try to sit down and come up with a plan? Because your circumstance is your circumstance. And if it was self-created, then it's going to be ultimately on you to create a plan to be able to figure out how you're going to overcome it. But to get 2 years in advance, and then you're like, well, no, I don't want to just sit here and try to figure out how I can turn this around in 2 years. I just feel like my life is supposed to get paid for. That is unsustainable. There's a new person that tries to get Section 8 every day. So how is it sustainable if you have new people coming in, but then you have the older people don't want to get off? And not even, when I say older people, I don't mean elders. I mean, you're 21 applying for Section 8, and you fully have the intention, if you can, to stay on this until you're 85. It's just unsustainable. And like he said, listen, you're making decisions. You're making really bad decisions. And it's like, who told you to do that? Why did you decide to do that? And why do you feel like you don't have to be responsible for that?
If it wasn't for us having Section
This says luxury Section 8 apartment tour in Arizona's richest neighborhood.
8 and had to wait for that process, we could have moved in the same day. So yes, that's how. Like if it wasn't for us having Section 8 and had to wait for that process, we could have moved in the same day. So yes, that's how fast it was. They wanted to move us in by at least a weekend. But the Section 8 process, we had to wait for that. That's what slowed us down.
Gotcha. Now, did you port from Georgia?
Yes.
How was that process? Was it a smooth transition?
It was tedious. I think it's smooth depending on who's your worker and who's working with you. I had to go down there at least several occasions just to make sure my process was going as it should.
Well, hold on. Well, we got to first address is, who is this guy? Right? He looks like part of the family. Who is this guy right here? He's definitely not the one behind the camera. Is that her man? Is that her husband? And she's saying she's on Section 8?
That way.
All right, so what do you have here? You have a 1-bedroom,
2-bedroom, 2-bath. Washer and dryer.
Refrigerator, dishwasher?
Yeah, refrigerator, dishwasher. We went out the place. We stayed in a hotel for like almost a month. And that was the Section 8 process out here too. Had to wait. But almost a month we stayed in a hotel.
Were you kind of worried at that point?
No, I was never worried. I was just anxious because I wanted to get out. But nah, I wasn't worried. I just know that sometimes, with government assistance, things is a slow process.
So it's like a Jack and Jill, right?
Yes.
So he can have his privacy there.
Yes, yes.
And then if you have guests over, you can still close this off.
Yes.
And then he'd be good to go.
Yes, that's how we did it too.
All right. It's your room, man?
Yeah, it's my room.
Did you start school yet?
Yeah.
How you like it? How you like your school out here?
It's good.
What grade you in?
Fifth.
You like it better than your school in Georgia? Do you, man? Why?
Because they don't give no homework.
They don't give homework out here.
Hey.
Yeah.
I see you got your cologne, man. All right. And then we right up into here.
To the living room.
So you got a patio?
Yes, you can come look out here too. Yes, patio is enclosed.
Man, this is nice, man.
Okay, well, it doesn't seem like that guy might be her man. I don't know who that other guy was. Maybe she just wanted to have a family member or somebody around while you got this dude with the camera. Because if that was her man and like that's his son, and then you got this dude with the camera just going around with you saying, "Oh, you got cologne?" Oh, like that's kind of crazy. It's like, dude, you don't just you getting a little too. You would be getting a little too comfortable in my house.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be people gonna be hating so bad on the.
They always do because I've seen it with a couple of people, but they'll be okay.
Right,
They'll be okay.
Why they do that?
I don't know. But they'll be okay.
Dang. They expect folks to live in a cardboard box.
Yes, just because you have a certain thing. They come with a washer and dryer.
Okay.
I mean, a dishwasher, refrigerator. Stove is electric.
So out here they are real slow about even knowing.
She probably heard the competition was a lot less in Arizona, because she said she ported her Section 8 or whatever, which I believe that just means that she transferred her Section 8 voucher to a new state. So she decided to move to a new state with her Section 8. And so she must have saw that there were more options and better options in Arizona with the Section 8. But my thing is, I'm gonna be real, like you're like moving around with it. Like in my mind, if you're on Section 8, you need to be trying to plant your roots and getting stable. And it's almost gonna be impossible to get any semblance of stability if you're just moving around. Right? You need to be trying to like stay one place and keep building momentum so that you can get off the program. Not just moving around and, like she said, she was in a hotel when she first got there for like a month. Where are you getting all this time? Remember, now moving forward, people got 2 years. Most people. There are some exceptions. But moving forward, it's going to be to where people have 2 years. So time is of the essence. And I feel like that's how you should be moving just in the first place. It says May 9th, 2026, new changes to Section 8.
Boy, I don't know if y'all heard this shit, but your boy Trump has just slapped a 2-year limit on anybody receiving assistance from Section 8, meaning that the longest you can stay on Section 8 is 2 years only. Man, I was just talking to my girlfriend about this, and let me tell you now, I don't see no problem with it. Because when it comes to Section 8, it should not be a lifelong thing that a person can rely on and live off of. Like, I understand if a person got a disability and can't work and they receive their money from the government via SSI check, or a senior citizen who's retired but doesn't receive enough money from the government to pay all their bills, I believe they should be able to stay on Section 8 and receive it the long haul. But for all these able-bodied women out here who can work a job, but all they doing is having all these kids out here and trying to live off the government, I don't believe you should be able to keep your Section 8 for the long haul. Because when it comes to other people out here who really need Section 8 and also qualifies for it, their applications for it is being denied because there's too many of y'all able-bodied women out here who's lazy as hell, who can work a job receiving all the benefits. So, boy, I don't know if y'all heard this shit, but your boy Trump.
I mean, and it's always going to come down to this. It's like, you can't solve your situation. You can't work. apparently, in a lot of cases. Or you can't work as much as it takes. But it's like, do you know what Section 8 represents? Section 8 represents you're on your last leg. How are you on your last leg continuing to have more and more kids? It's always going to come back to that. How is that possible? How is that happening? We all see it. And it's like it's taboo to talk about it. But it's in our face. We can see it. You were on Section 8 last year, and this year you're pregnant. What type of message is that sending? How should we perceive that? I'm just curious. Like, are we just supposed to be like, congratulations? Or are we supposed to like ask questions at the very least and be curious as far as how did this happen? I thought you was effed up out here. How? Who? Why? But you can't, they don't want you bringing it up or inquiring, right? Inquiring minds want to know. For this, she's responding to a comment. The comment reads, "Where are y'all getting these amounts from? I was on Section 8 and my rent was $900. So she's replying to that comment.
Y'all are aware that Section 8, equal housing opportunity, all of that's based off of your income. So if you're making $5,000 and you live in a Section 8 equal housing place, yeah, your rent might be $900 because it's going to be based, it's going to be a portion of your income, a certain percentage of your income. So yeah, it would be higher if you're making more money. I know y'all don't think I'm only bringing home $200 a month and I'm about to pay $900. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so the hoes who are paying $7, they probably are in a place where the rent is only $300. You know what I'm saying? And they pay a portion, a percentage, a very small percentage at that, of the rent. So yeah, Section 8 equal housing, they're going to take a look at your income, they're going to divide it by whatever, and that's the portion that you're going to have to pay. So if you're paying $900, I guarantee you're bringing in more than $2,000 a month. I guarantee you that. Okay, so that's probably why you pay so much. But if you want to jump down to $17 like them other hoes, I advise you to go ahead and get it popping before December, because that shit's about to run out. Okay?
Notice what she said. She just answered it, but she didn't mean to. She said if you want to jump down and basically get more, so basically, make $17. And then that way you'll get more benefits, but you might want to do it before all these regulations come out. And yeah, I was going to answer the question. She's like, where are y'all getting these amounts from? I was on Section 8. My rent was $900. Yeah, because probably, ma'am, you were just doing the right thing. You were actually still trying to work. And you were trying to actually improve your situation, as opposed to trying to manipulate figures and, manipulate your income and your income potential in order to figure out how you could get your time back and be lazy, while at the same time being incentivized to maximize the amounts that you're able to make from your benefits. I mean, it's people that's doing that, and it gets more egregious. People will intentionally have kids, all type of stuff. So that's how they're getting these amounts. It's not ethical, it's not right, but yeah, they're just not trying.
I don't know what y'all idea of flexing is, but getting on the internet and telling.
It looks like she's replying to a comment. The comment says, yes, the way she is describing it make me question if she actually lived in Section 8.
Everybody that I was a Section 8 tenant is not my idea of flexing. That actually leaves me vulnerable. As a matter of fact, Not even 10 minutes before I'm filming this, I just had to block somebody for calling me out my name for the fact that I even mentioned dating while I was on Section 8. If I'm a flex, this ain't gonna be the way I'm gonna do it. I make perfume content on here, and I also make what I call big sister content. Perfume is just for fun. Me just talking as a big sister is a piece of me just fulfilling my need to feel like I'm helping out in this world. Even if it's just TikTok, I'm gonna go ahead and digress, but to get back to the subject, for those who are a little bit confused as to what's going on, we talking about Section 8, and a couple of people have correspondence in the comments where they are questioning whether I was on Section 8 because I stated that in my experience, you can have a hard time finding a landlord with the Section 8 voucher. Now, I'm not from New York or I'm not from California. Section 8 is kind of looked at differently. Where I'm from, it has been my experience, as well as people who I also know who has been on Section 8 and or subsidized housing. A lot of landlords do not want to touch you. And this could be several reasons, but there is some type of stereotype that comes with individuals that utilize Section 8 and other government-based services.
She said the stereotype's just lazy, dirty, and loud. Well, you could say it's a stereotype, but if something happens enough times, do we not start to, at the very least, use that data in order to make better decisions? Right? If you go to a certain neighborhood and every time you go to that neighborhood and get robbed, are you stereotyping if you no longer walk in that area or, go in that area unarmed or whatever the case? It's not stereotyping, it's risk assessment. And they be wise to do that. And if a certain group of people, and by group of people, I mean if Section 8 tenants, if en masse, a lot of times, either they mess up the property, whether that's intentional or unintentional, they're hard to deal with or whatever. At this point, the only perk of renting to a Section 8 tenant is the fact that the rent is almost guaranteed at the very least, the government's portion. And I would say it's pretty highly guaranteed on their side too, because they wouldn't want to lose their voucher. But that's pretty much the only guarantee. And from my understanding, Section 8 really isn't even competitive with market rates for how much rents are.
That we're dirty, we ain't gonna keep up on a property, we be having police interference. In the county that I was in, the houses have to be up to a certain standard or a certain code in order for the house to be eligible to have a Section 8 tenant. A lot of landlords didn't even want to be bothered with that. One landlord told me it was something as simple as a crack on their steps disqualified them from being eligible to receive a Section 8 tenant. I've even had, when I was out looking for a place to rent with my voucher, I had a landlord specifically tell me that she does not like to rent to Section 8 tenants. She did not specify, but I already knew where she was going with that. However, she liked me as a person. She didn't accept my application. So it may be your experience. Section 8 tenants are readily accepted and a lot of landlords want them, and it's something that a lot of people are having an easy time with, but that was not my experience. It took me about, I want to say 3 months after I even got the voucher in order to get to the place because of everything that I just mentioned. Again, I have no reason to lie about being.
And you know what's funny too? Like, I'm pretty good with seeing things and recognizing things. I feel like she wouldn't even be a bad tenant. Like this individual person. I feel like she would probably be a great tenant. I bet you she's clean. I bet you she doesn't cause any problems. She doesn't look like she's problematic. Even the way she's addressing this comment it's not like she's being problematic about it or just being loud and abrasive. But sadly, most people are. But she in particular doesn't seem like she would be that difficult. But you know what the problem is? A lot of Section 8 tenants or just people who have bad records, like even people with evictions on their records, a lot of them are very good actors. And so you meet them and you first meet them, and you have full confidence that they're going to pay you your rent and they're going to be a great tenant, because man, they put on the act real strong and they seem perfect. And the whole time they have ulterior motives. And as soon as it's some residents, and it doesn't even just have to be Section 8, because this can happen even with regular tenants. But if they ultimately have egregious intentions and ulterior motives, they'll tell you all the right things. They'll be perfect when you first meet them. And then you move them in there, and then the plan goes into effect immediately. And they just immediately don't pay. They don't answer your calls. They flip the switch and they turn into a whole nother person. And so I think a lot of landlords try to mitigate against that as best as they can. But there's really no way of telling.
Listen up, because I'm not going to keep saying this, okay? Everybody on Section 8 does not pay $0 rent, $25 rent, $50 rent, okay?
Her caption says, single moms have way more expenses than normal. Single mom on Section 8.
Let me tell you something. Majority of the women who are single mothers who have Section 8 have Section 8 because they need assistance with the rent. Not that they need their rent paid completely and totally and free. It's a lot of women out here that's paying a nice amount of money for rent, okay? $600, $700, $800 to be exact. Because they need help paying the rent, because they don't just pay rent, like other people. I ain't gonna get to calling out no names and stuff, but y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Like them fathers who just have to pay their rent and their cell phone bill and they whatever little expenses that they have. They don't have to pay not a expense for a child, including child support. Yeah. So when a woman is fully supporting a child and she got to pay for daycare on top of that, she got to pay for all the clothes and shoes and sports and all of them other expenses. That's where her rent being reduced by 30% comes into effect. So now she can pay her rent and her kids can still enjoy sports and all their school activities that they have, their dances, making sure their hair get cut and their hair look nice and they have nice clothes and shoes and those type of things. They have to go to daycare. Baby, daycare is expensive. Childcare is expensive. So, yeah, that rent, it offsets that for her. So don't be mad.
I don't know why y'all can't just be safe. Listen, if you want to have your fun, you have your urges, whatever. Cool, do you. But why you just can't do it in a way where you don't mess yourself up? Why can't you just do it in a way? I mean, there's so many forms of contraception today. Why not just do it in a way to where you're not going to have to take all this on, especially with somebody who you're really not even in a secure foundational relationship with? I mean, it happens like clockwork. When are we going to recognize the pattern? All of y'all are getting pregnant and it's ending up single. Y'all mamas was getting pregnant and ending up single. At what point do we say there's enough examples out here to where you knew how this could end up? So why didn't you try to make sure that didn't happen to you? And that's what we need to start addressing, because she's putting it on, oh yeah, y'all don't understand. We got more expenses than normal. Yeah, that was self-inflicted and you chose to take that on. Because I know you done seen enough examples of enough single parents out here who decided to have kids without the context of a marriage or something. So that's what we got to start addressing, because at this point, like, if you're still making that mistake right now, right, in this day and age where it's extremely normal to end up to just be single and a single parent, at this point, I feel like there's enough examples. And like in 2026, if you're still doing that, then that was absolutely a choice. And you chose to do that. And you there for the day. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video. Hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I am a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels, smaller creators. So that's why. And also, if you don't see the hype button on a video, then that means that it's probably been 7 days, and hype usually disappears after 7 days. So it's usually best practice to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot. And then also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content as well. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.